Prince Harry has lost a bid to have the Mail on Sunday's defence to his defamation case thrown out by a judge. The Duke is suing the newspaper group for libel following an article about his security arrangements in the UK, which he claims was an attack on his honesty and integrity. The Mail on Sunday argue it was an honest opinion and did not cause serious harm to his reputation. Take it up, Alex.
Kevin's just like blasting through all of it.
It's not my fault they didn't put your name up. Carry on, please do.
Kevin's doing this show, I'm not here. So, no, I was quite happy, I was relaxing. I don't even know where we got to
But today.
Right, thank you. But today, a judge refused to do so and concluded that the Mail had a real prospect of successfully showing that the Prince's statements provided a misleading description of his case against the Home Office. If you managed to keep up with all that, well done. If you didn't, don't worry, because we're joined now by TalkTV's royal correspondent, Rupert Bell, to explain the lot of it. Right, Rupert, so give us in a nutshell, what has gone on today?
Well, basically, the gist of it is an article that was published back in February of last year. Then there is this court case, and Prince Harry taking this court case, and the defence from the associated newspapers is saying that there was misleading statements. And the article they put, and the judge has deemed it an honest opinion. But the nub of it is that he said a statement said that he was always prepared to foot the bill for his security. Well, the Mail on Sunday article, and when it was published, was suggesting that that only came subsequently. And therein lies the sort of legal semantics surrounding this case. And clearly, Harry had hoped to have it thrown out, but the judge obviously conceded that there is some case for the defence, i.e. the associated newspapers. But clearly, Harry's security issues have been exercising him greatly, because obviously this week we've seen him in court on a separate trial as he tries to get the Home Office to pay for his security arrangements. So it's all sort of linked as to the way he feels he's not being treated right. But what will happen now, it will go to a hearing next week, and then it will expect now to go to trial sometime next year, unless there is some legal agreement in the meantime, if it doesn't go to trial. But the judge is saying, yes, it now can go to trial.
Yeah,
I hope.
And he's also, Rupert, though,
in a nutshell.
What's he done? What he's actually done, the judge, Rupert, is he has decided that the newspaper's honesty is definitely to be stuck up for, whereas he's not so keen on Harry's honesty. Harry said that this article impugned his honesty and integrity. The newspaper, the Mail on Sunday, said, we wrote this story. And the essence of the story was this. I'm paraphrasing, of course. Sneaky Harry has tried to keep his case, his legal bid to have royal armed protection, police protection, when he comes to this country. He's tried to keep it secret. The Mail on Sunday is saying that that story was based on honest opinion. The judge has accepted that, and it has thrown out Harry's contention that impugns his honesty and his integrity. So the judge has quite clearly sided with the newspaper here. This is a very bad day for Mr. Wales, isn't it?
It's not looking good for his legal team and Harry.
Yeah.
I would suggest, because he does say that the defendants have a very good case to answer for. So that again puts Harry's legal team on the back foot. Now, how's it going to play out? As I say, this private hearing next week, it might be that they feel now it's not worth taking it any further. But I'll tell you what, Harry isn't half paying a lot of money to lawyers at the moment, because he's got a lot of cases sort of around and about at the moment. But obviously he's had this week's one, which of course he wasn't in court for, but obviously he's hoping that he wins this one and gets the Home Office to give him the level of security that he wants. But clearly they were always going to give him security on a case-by-case basis. And this is the issue. Harry feels he should be deemed a special case, and now he's having his own honesty questioned by what the judge has said today.
Well, this is the problem with how litigious he is. I mean, the boy should go get a job rather than just get more lawyers. But this is the problem, really, because when you look at the nuance of the court case about the police protection or not, and now he's turning around and saying, well, look, you know, I can't bring security who can carry their own arms. Only police in the UK can do that, and I would happily pay for that myself. You know, you can understand a little bit, I suppose, that, you know, why he might want that in place and why perhaps we could potentially provide it. But then he goes, no, I mean, I'm saying nuance. Some people might, right, you know. But,
name me one.
Well, me, I actually don't think if it was, you know...
You think the taxpayers should pay for his protection?
No, what I think...
Get out of the studio.
That wasn't what I said. I did not pay for his protection. What I said was if he was going to pay for one armed security guard who's able to carry a weapon in this country, fine. But
this is about hiring the police force.
Yeah, no, I know that. Kevin, let me finish my sentence.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, what I was going to ask
police haven't
Rupert...
got one arm. They're not allowed to have one arm. They have two. Carry on, sorry.
I really might just go home and start my weekend early. You know, I'm kind of up for going to the pub, to be honest. What I was wanting to...
Sorry. Carry on with the show.
What I wanted to say is the problem is constantly, every time he might make some steps forward with getting public sympathy, he does something like this and blows it up again.
Good point.
Thanks.
Well, this is his problem. And actually, there's no one saying that he doesn't deserve some level of protection when he's in this country. But let's work out what the security threat is on a case-by-case basis. And this is the problem for him. He does believe he is a special case. And he's saying that the reason he had to leave this country because he wasn't getting the security that he wanted. Yet isn't he just as vulnerable wherever he should live? Because so he has to have he has security around him, but of which presumably he's paying for in the States. So coming here, he would be afforded some. So can be seen to be a person could find himself as a security issue. But I have to say he does not help himself by what has created around him over the recent months. It's not, you know, he has not put himself in a good light. Yeah. And the whole thing is adding to the sort of sadness of the situation that is developing around him and the rest of his family.
But what we're trying to get our heads around, Rupert, is today it also emerged, actually last night, that as part of his other lawsuit, the one at the High Court about whether or not he deserves Royal Armed Police protection, he said he's actually put into the court that him and Meghan were forced to leave the country. And I don't get that. Secondly, because I don't think they were not forced by anyone. Secondly, he said that the royal family stopped them being frontline royals. I don't think that's true. And thirdly, if they had remained, if they didn't assume that they'd been forced out of the country, they could have remained here as frontline royals and received all the armed police protection that the rest of the royal family get. Instead, he said that for the sake of my family's safety, I'm off to the gun murder capital of the world, America. None of it makes sense. It's incoherent.
Well, this is the problem for him. He wanted to back away, and he says he was going to be forced out of the royal family. And I, to some extent, totally agree with you here, Kevin, that actually he did not need to take this. He saw there was a whole cone of everyone was against him. The problem was, to some extent, Meghan wanted to be a higher profile member of the royal family, but protocol meant that she was always going to be married. I think it's now the sixth in line to the throne, that his status was always going to be diminished. And so we could never, and I'm not sure she was comfortable with being the sort of number two to Kate. And we're starting to see that with what's come out in the book, that she always felt that she could not, Kate overshadowed her, and she wasn't comfortable with this. So the situation actually came about for different reasons rather than the security issues. He wanted, with Meghan, to have didn't want to then continue to be doing the royal duties, of which you have to say Harry was incredibly good at and always showed that was always great fun, and people enjoyed him coming. They enjoyed when Meghan arrived as well in this country. Suddenly history has been rewritten so many times around the Sussexes, which I think is frustrating one and all.
TalkTV's royal correspondent Rupert Bell, thank you very much. Always good to have your company.